Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has been meeting with the governors of the All Progressives Congress at the State House here in Abuja, and then the meeting comes ahead of the National Convention of the ruling party, which is scheduled for Saturday, March 26th. The governors were led to the meeting by Malabuni, chairman of the interim committee of the party and governor of Yobe State. Buhari had last week asked the APC governors to allow the Yobe State governor to take charge of the National Convention, and we also learned that President Buhari will be meeting with all the 7 chairmanship aspirants of the APC later today to appeal to them for calm and, of course, discuss with them ahead of the party's national convention. And we do not know if he would mention any issues of a consensus chairmanship candidate, but all of these issues will be coming up. And the governance aspect of the country since the APC took charge in 2015 is being questioned by a lot of people, and party members are only being hopeful that they will have a national chairman that will help to strengthen democratic governance, not just within the party but across the country, and ensure that the party lives up to its manifesto. Well, for more on this, I'm now being joined by former Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Dr. Danladi Bako, who is also a former commissioner in Sokoto State. So good to have you, Dr.
Thank you very much,
Bako. I mean, how has it been after all this politics and you being out of power, you being at the background, helping politicians out, helping to strengthen governance, dialogues, and all of that?
Very well, Sambo. I do not always subscribe to all of us going for elections. Only one person can occupy a seat at a particular time. And if there are 200 million Nigerians, some people have to give way so that 1 or 2 that are deemed by the generality on the majority can take those positions. So I've always felt that I've been blessed, I've been favored. I mean, I was appointed Director General of NBC 20 years ago. So I don't think there are more than 5,000 Nigerians that occupy such positions out of 200 million. I have done a lot to contribute to the growth of politics. Remember that as at 1978-79, I was a reporter and NTA Sokoto staff. So we saw President Shagari come to power. We helped Shehu Kangiwa become governor. The same thing in 1991-92. I was there with MQ Abiola, Jonathan Zwingina, Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, Yomi Edu, were all people that saw me work with Bashono MQ Abiola in SDP. So I've always contributed from backstage to try to see how we can get better governance and a better country for the citizenry behind. You and I can afford 3 square meals. There are millions who cannot. You and I have a job. There are millions who don't. So what we should do is continue to assist the system to unify and get candidates and people of quality, headhunt them so that we can get a better country to good leadership.
Okay, very interesting indeed. Now, you helped to midwife several political parties. I mean, the PDP, you were part of it, and this APC, you were also part of it.
Absolutely.
And all of that. Do you think that these political parties have helped to shape our democracy? Because a lot of Nigerians are sort of disenchanted with the way our democracy seems to be going. And you can see the ruling party, APC, seems to be having challenges of internal democracy, and then the country seems to be having huge issues of energy crisis at the moment. You have issues of, even law and order. Basic things don't seem to be working. How do you think that we can provide better solutions and bring up a better polity that attends to our needs so that people don't focus more on politics, but governance?
Thank you, Somna. The issues of what the parties stand for is key. Parties have not developed any form of ideology, no philosophy. A lot of them stand on towards something that looks like welfarism. But even that welfarism is corrupted by so many other factors, because self-interest, corruption, we're not talking just about corruption of stealing government money, corruption in elections, corruption in every part of our system, is a pointer to the fact that once upon a time, Alhaji Maitama Sule late used to be the Minister of National Orientation or something, guidance. we still have an agency, but we're far away from being oriented in good manners, etiquette, and the fear of God. The second part is a system of leadership recruitment. Our leadership recruitment policy and style and strategies are all faulty. So now what does it take? A man goes, smuggles petrol across the border from Sokoto or from Katsina. It takes 30,000 liters of petrol across the border, sells it for thrice the amount. What does he do? He comes back, gives the local district head at the border, gives him 1 million naira, gives customs 1 million naira, and he's home and dry. And he becomes richer than the vice chancellor of a university. So when they go for an election, he wins because he has raw money. It doesn't come with education. It doesn't come with anything. So we have a lot of people in power who do not qualify to be there.
Who are not supposed to be there.
Who are not supposed to be there.
Merit we have set to ourselves.
Absolutely. We have set such high standards. And unfortunately, lots of the people that occupy places, let's talk about godfatherism. A man sits back, he sits in a state, and he believes that somebody, one of his proteges, must become the next governor. How does he perform? That person does not owe his allegiance to the voters. He owes his allegiance to the godfather. Remember, once upon a time, there is a state in the southwest where every month they take 40 million naira to the godfather.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be Oyo State, where we had the godfather of that, of Amala politics, as it used to be known, until there was a very big challenge there.
Absolutely.
Late Chief Lamidi Adedibu.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about leadership recruitment. The APC, as a ruling party, is undergoing turmoil right now because it's time to have a new set of leaders.
Yeah.
Have you seen the values of service being brought to bear from most of the contestants, most of the national chairmanship aspirants? Do you think that there's that drive to serve, or you think that from what you are saying, it's actually about people wanting to just occupy political positions for the sake of it? Because sometimes you ask these people, why do you want to occupy a position? And they don't even have a driving ideology or philosophy or of the kind of political party that they want to have. What do you make of the internal politics of the APC?
Thank you again, Sumner. For me, and I'm going to be very blunt about this, we thought and we accepted the 3-point agenda of Mr. President, and indeed the APC: security, economy, and anti-corruption. For me, anybody that has a major case in court with the EFCC or ICPC should not even be thinking of contesting. As President Obasanjo said the other day, they should be in jail. Because of the slow process of the judicial system in Nigeria, despite the enactment of ACJA, we still haven't been able to send people to jail. Some of the contestants that are running for chairmanship should be in jail because they're former governors. And unless their cases are, unless they're exonerated, just like Caesar's wife, they should live above board. So I see lots of people trying to run for office, and you have cases at the EFCC, and nobody is talking.
And it's the ruling party.
And it's the ruling party. And I can tell you, people who left power 2007, so many governors, till date, they still are roaming around using their money to dominate and control the system. That's not good enough. With all due respect, I mean, the president has tried a little bit. We know quite a few cases of people who have been sent to jail. I mean, one House of Reps member that collected money on tabs, fuel subsidy, one PDP, all of them. But the big fishes, former governors.
Well, you have Joshua Dare, who is cooling off.
Yes, absolutely. And even Reverend Jolly Nyame. But Sumner, the Senate has become a retirement house for governors that you question their integrity. I'll leave it at that. And some of them now will use the Senate to endorse themselves to run for chairmanship. That's crazy, isn't it?
And there's a likelihood they may use their influence to actually win the elections.
Absolutely, and that's not good enough for us.
We'll have to run a short break. And when we come back, we'll be talking more about this and the philosophy of the parties, and of course, what you think is also wrong with the opposition People's Democratic Party. You're still watching the Arise interview. When we return, the conversation continues on politics in Nigeria. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Somna Sambo, and I still have with me the former Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Danladi Bako, who is also a former commissioner in Sokoto State, and he's been several things. I will come to you now on this issue of the opposition People's Democratic Party. There are lots of accusations that that party hasn't played the critical role of helping to engender democracy very well, that the APC feels more comfortable at doing several things, including the kind of energy crisis that we are in, no protests, lots of things. So the ruling party is more at home. The criticism is coming more from within the ruling party than from the opposition party. And not just the PDP alone, there are several other little opposition parties, if we may put it that way. What's your view?
Very rightly put. I think that the PDP has just been a lame duck. They haven't done as much as they should. Because of the lack of cohesion within the party. They are suffering from the same issues that tore them apart in 2015. I was there as Commissioner of Information, and all the 7 governors came to Sokoto to decamp from PDP and I was one of those. They made the announcement as Commissioner of Information that Rotimi Amechi, Rivers, Kano, Kwankwaso, Niger, Babangida were going to move to APC. Eventually, Sule Lamido and Babangida Ali did not go, but 5 of them left. Now, what was all the issues? There was MPDP, there were factionalizations. The PDP today, as I speak, has literally outsourced funding of the party to one man. Now they have a problem because the party is not owned by the people, and some governors, the case is not as, some governors have arrested the leadership of the party. Some of the elders in the party who are supposed to put an eye on what is being done have nicely kept quiet. What they just get to do is make comments periodically. But I see that they have been hesitating, making up their minds whether to support zoning or not zoning.
Especially with the huge influence of someone like Atiku Abubakar,
absolutely,
who just declared today to run for it.
Absolutely.
While there is a zoning committee that has been set up.
Now you just struck.
What do you make of that, including people like Bukola Saraki who have purchased forms?
I suspect
that's
the division I talk about. So there's no synergy. So there's disharmony. And if they continue at that momentum, that pace, Buhari's 14 million votes in the Northwest will just override them.
Well, will any potential APC candidate inherit
that's the
that
issue. Again,
huge number of votes?
Absolutely. Depends on what the president does. The president has some following that is not based on politics. The people, is a cult hero to some people, whatever he does. Now, they have watched him Minister of Petroleum during his first term. He came, Sumner, I was in Sokoto during the campaign, and people trekked 11 kilometers on foot to trek from their villages to come to parade ground. Some other places, Takatuku in Bodinga, Kolkolawa in the university, they leave as early as 7 a.m. to get to the trade fair complex at 4 p.m.
Because of the Buhari
Because of Buhari grant. Why is that so? Because they can't find one huge building like Transcorp Hilton owned by Buhari. They can't find a newspaper house owned by Buhari. They can't find aircrafts owned by Buhari. They just cannot find those things. So they believe that his Spartan life is good for the country. And because of that Spartan nature, they feel he's not a thief. Forget about whether the people around him might be stealing. But because of that, if he makes a right decision, but if he goes and picks a governor that cannot win his state, we'll have a problem.
Why is it difficult for someone like Atiku Abubakar to enjoy such kind of following? And do you think that with Buhari out of the way now, it's easier for an Atiku to become president in 2023?
Atiku has a lot of good following. It's just that, as usual, for you to come first, you must beat the person that is first. With him out of the way, what happens next is what Atiku does. And you know why I said so? There are lots of voters that will make up their minds based on who the other party nominates and presents. In both cases. Why did I say so? 2011, Sumner, we were all in PDP, and I was deputy chairman of campaign. Late Ambassador Laden Shuni was chairman. I was deputy. I voted for governorship PDP, and presidential election, I voted CPC. Because the candidate that PDP presented for presidential campaign in 2011 was, for me, not as good as the CPC candidate.
Even though he was the sitting president?
Even though he was the sitting president. So we're going to end up somewhere with a case where if APC picks a candidate from somewhere that people in Megatari don't know, people in Akitakos don't know, and they cannot relate, they cannot connect. People in Charanchi, in Katsina, cannot relate to him. Or people in Arondizogu. You pick a man from Southwest who has been accused of being a churchman only, you have a problem. Because all the alienated other tribes, other religions, you have alienated them.
And how about someone who is like Tinubu? Do you foresee Tinubu getting the ticket? Or do you think Oshibanjo stands a better chance if he's endorsed by President Buhari?
I don't even want to go to the point of, because already some of them have been cloaked in religious
garbs.
Yes, the religion, and they're going to have a face-off with traditionalists and Muslim clerics. No two ways about it. As for Asiwaju, I think it stands a chance. Depends again. There are certain factors that now come into play. Your running mate. If Asiwaju, calms down, picks a running mate that can get him votes from the Northwest and the Northeast. If he can pick candidates that can, because he will not carry the votes in the Northwest. He won't carry the votes in the Northeast on his own. Yeah. He can carry some parts, but the kind of vice president he picks helps him to choose and break through some of those guys. He shouldn't wait. He shouldn't depend on party. If he needs to go out of his party to go and look for a popular northern candidate, irrespective of where he's from, and drag him.
And religion too.
And religion.
Well, those are interesting scenarios that you're painting. I've just been told that we don't have enough time left. But yeah. in 60 seconds, just tell me about the media. Do you think that we're also contributing to the problems in the society? What sort of things should we be doing better to help our democracy grow?
Sumner, I think that, first of all, let me seize this opportunity to congratulate the management and staff of Arise TV and you. The number of years I've known you, for me to be sitting with you now as Director of News of Arise, I feel proud.
Thanks so much.
I feel so good. And I feel honored that one of my proteges has become Director of News in Arise TV. So congratulations.
Thanks so much.
I interviewed Nduka Obagbena on Morning Ride in 1989. And I'm still proud of what he has done and how he has put this together. As a total philosophy, Arise has broken out of the rudimentary conservative news reporting and interviews. They have taken it a notch higher to be able to be daring, to take some issues and take some guests that other people will not touch. I mean, there are so many guests on Arise that NTA will not touch with a 10-foot pole.
Of course.
Do you understand? And my other friends in another station will not, because they're already dedicated to PDP. So as we move towards the election, people must learn to be objective. We need this country. We need to be objective. We need to find a rhythm and a center place where the best candidate. What I'm looking for in this country now is a candidate that can lead us, irrespective of whether he's a technocrat, whatever he is, a candidate that understands, a candidate that can stand with Joe Biden here, Emmanuel Macron here, and be able to have an intelligent discussion with Putin, and be able to stand when they're taking photographs of G8 and not look like
indeed,
one leper and feel intimidated.
Looking lost,
lost.
you know, in the midst of all of that.
And a candidate that can connect with the grassroots, who can come out once in a while and be able to drum with the and go and mix with them.
Okay, we must thank you so much, Dr. Danladi Bako, who has joined us to take a critical look at the Nigerian polity and, of course, with a focus on what the media can do and what political parties can do to help our democracy grow. We must thank you for joining us on the show. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of the Arise interview. Do join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Stan.